Alright everybody, how's it going? Awesome Soul here, and today we have the patch notes of the Epic Loot update. Some of which we already knew, however, there are some clarifications and brand new information in here, so stay tuned for that. If you have not checked out my other 3 videos, I would recommend you do that, as a lot of the information covered in those videos will be skipped over in this one. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the new Epic Loot progression system. This is going to work as follows, or at least these are the important points that I've grabbed out of this section. The salvage crates that you get out of every match will be slightly different. So when you end a team deathmatch game, you will get a crate that contains 1 item and 1 premium item. So the premium items are, if you have premium, you will get that. And don't worry, those are exactly the same quality and rarity of items that you will be getting if you just have non-premium. So you won't be gaining any bonuses. You will still be gaining the same sort of rarity value per chest. It's just you will get 100 rarities worth if you only have 1 item, and you will get 100 rarities worth if you have the 2 items from the regular and the premium. So it's still a total of 100 rarity worth, but basically 1 item would be 50 rarity and 1 other item, the premium item, would be 50 rarity. That's just an example, just making sure it's clear that it's completely fair to those who have non-premium as well. Ending a pit match will give you 3 items and 3 premium items, for a total of 6 items. And Battle Arena will give you 4 items and 4 premium items, for a total of 8. Now they've done this because, obviously, team deathmatch games don't last very long, usually about 3 to 5 minutes. 5 minutes is more on the extreme end, but usually last around 4 minutes on average. So you can kind of grind up those fairly easily. And especially if you do well, you're probably going to be guaranteed like a legendary item if you're top scorer. Interestingly enough, you can actually get crates from single player as well. Now, there are different levels of crates. I guess I will detail those first. There are 6 types. The rusted crate, the bronze crate, silver crate, gold crate, diamond crate, and protonium crate, which is the highest level. So, in single player, you can get a rusted crate for getting 10 kills, and you gain additional crates for more kills. So you get a bronze crate at 25 kills, silver at 50 kills, gold at 100, diamond at 200, and protonium for a whopping 400 kills. That's going to take a long time. So I see single player being fairly good for grinding low-level crates. However, grinding high-level crates, you would be better off going to a deathmatch, for example, and trying to get a good score in that. That would be your best bet for grinding high-level crates. As far as rarity goes, the example they give here is a Carbon 6, which is the fancy-looking one. Laser Leviathan is going to be in the legendary category, which is the highest category. Regular cubes would be in the common category, and the Laser Wasp would be in the uncommon category. So it seems like weapons are going to be uncommons, cubes are commons, and then low-level cosmetics are going to be rare. And then we have our Epic Loot, which is going to be our quote-unquote high-level cosmetics. That's what it seems to be, but we could be wrong. Also, all previously Galaxy Cache only cosmetics will be available in all salvage crates. And they've actually been given permission from Overwolf, Alienware, Curse, and Yogscast even, to use their items in the salvage crates. So even those will appear in the salvage crates, which is nice because I personally don't have an Overwolf mask or a dwarf mask from Yogscast. So maybe I could actually get those for once, which would be quite nice. As I've sort of hinted at previously, salvage crates are awarded based on your scoreboard position. If you look up in the corner there's a handy dandy little chart. I will not go through that because I will be here for like an extra 5 minutes, and the video would be very long if I did. So link is in the description for that if you want to take a closer look. Daily crates. Yes, indeed. There are a daily crate bonus in the game. Or I guess there is a daily crate bonus, if I could English properly. Anyways, every time you log in, you'll be given a free crate. On your first day, you'll be given a rusted crate, and each consecutive day that you log in, you will get an upgraded crate. So the next day, you'll be getting a bronze crate, silver, gold, diamond, and protonium. Once you hit protonium, if you keep logging in every single day, you will continue to receive protonium crates. Now, the recycler and the forge. Forge is basically where you buy items, although you're actually technically making items, quote unquote now. It's basically just a renamed cube depot. So how this works. Each item breaks down into an amount of robits based on its rarity and its CPU cost. The rarest and highest CPU items give the most robits. So that would obviously be that Carbon 6 Laser Leviathan would probably give you the most robits out of any item. And we actually have the conversion rate of RP that we have in our accounts. So, RP is going to be divided by 63. So if you go in-game, take a look at your current RP, divide that by 63, you'll be gaining that much in robits. Or, well, it's going to be converted into that much. Forge costs, again, are based on rarity and CPU, so some forge costs have gone down relative to others, and others have gone up. On the whole, more have gone down than risen, especially when you consider that all previous Galaxy Cache only items are now available in salvage crates and are able to be forged. Now again, cosmetics are in the rare and epic and legendary categories. So those are probably going to cost you more robits than weapons. Even if weapons are high in CPU, they would be in the uncommon category. Or I assume most of them would. And as detailed before, yes, all cosmetics are indeed available in salvage crates and can be forged. Every single, well, almost every single cosmetic can be forged, but I'll get into that a little later. We are really happy that pay-only items and speedometers are available for free. So that's very cool, because they were cosmetics, however they did actually have a function. Not really enough to give any in-battle bonuses, because it doesn't increase your speed, it just tells you how fast you're going. But that's very cool, because those who couldn't get them before can now actually get them. Now, there are certain restrictions on cosmetics, and those few are as follows. The League badges cannot be forged until you actually unlock them by gaining that League rank yourself. Additionally, the Dev supporter flags, both the green and the gold, cannot be forged. They are the only two items that I am aware of currently in the game that cannot be forged, but that's covered fairly later on, so just hold tight on that one. So, as far as weapon and movement reworks go, there are a few in this section, but I will only cover the important ones because I've covered most of this. So the largest laser and plasma have had their sound effects and special effects beefed up to match their new high accuracy and punch packing potential. And also, their slower fire rates. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I was kind of concerned as to whether or not they would still have the same effects, because looking at the stats and the sound effects and visual effects they have now, it's a little piddly. So definitely looking forward to that, especially the Mega Plasma. Hopefully it's as good as the current Mega Plasma and or as fun to use. So this one is very interesting for all of you. Since movement part health, carry mass, and speed is broadly based on CPU, they're also viable regardless of level. So these do not require balancing, and it means that no breaking your finely balanced bots. So I'm a little disappointed by this. I was sort of expecting something along the lines of the reworked weapons would be done to movement parts. But I guess not. And I mean, it kind of makes sense, because obviously the smallest parts are smaller and therefore harder to hit. Although they're not going to be quite as weak as you might think. But before we do get into that, I will talk about an important Galaxy Cache change. So, important, FreeJam says. After we go live, Zola will begin a process of converting Galaxy Cache into actual money within the Zola payment browser interface in the game. This process will take a number of days, so sorry for any inconvenience during that time, and thank you for your continued support and patience. So, this is what I've been saying a little while ago, at least in the last video anyway. I would recommend spending all of your Galaxy Cache now, unless you actually want those Protonium crates. Speaking of Protonium crates, they come in bundles of 12, 25, 65, 140, and 300. That's going to be a little ridiculous sitting there and waiting for 300 crates to open. I assume it's going to be sped up very quickly. And interestingly enough, regardless of whether or not you actually have premium, all of the bought Protonium salvage crates will have all 8 items available. So it's essentially getting a battle arena chest, but if you had premium, regardless of whether or not you had premium. Now, the dev supporter flags, how exactly do you get those? Well, you can now get the green one by buying the 140 bundle, and you can get the gold one from buying the 300 bundle. Now, onto the Community Robot Factory. Each robot in the CRF has 2 robot forging costs. One is the full cost of forging all the cubes, and the other is the cost of forging the cubes that you don't have and using what you have in your inventory to fill out the rest. This means that some robots will become free on the CRF, assuming you have every part available to you, in your inventory, that is. Crafters submitting robots to the CRF will now gain 25% earnings, as opposed to 10% as what it used to be. They've also reduced the cost of submission to 0. It now costs 0 robots in this case to upload, which is very nice. But they will be monitoring this to make sure that it's not abused and there's no single block spam on the CRF. Hopefully that doesn't actually happen. Please don't ruin this for everyone. Please don't. Anyways, obviously, robots can no longer be purchased for Galaxy Cache because Galaxy Cache is no longer a thing. This also means that you can't actually buy robots with the direct money system either. You can sort robots by its robot forge cost, including the full forge cost and your personal forge cost, i.e. based on how many items you have in your inventory. The robot ranking filter has now been changed to the CPU filter, which makes sense because obviously there's no more robot ranking, and matchmaking is done by CPU, so that makes perfect sense. There's also a rarity filter, so if you want to find a robot with extremely rare cubes on it, you can. Or you could find a robot with super common items on it. Now this one is very interesting for, well, everyone. Robots with premium colors can now be forged by everyone. So before you had to have premium in order to actually buy a premium painted robot, but now that is no longer the case. However, if you do not have premium, you will still have no premium paint. So it's not tied to that bay, it is tied to your account. So if you buy a premium painted bot, you will not be able to add to it with the premium colors. So keep that in mind. And finally, this one is something that a lot of people have wanted for quite a while. The time to kill has been increased, i.e. all cubes have had a massive 25% buff. And by cubes, they mean every item in the game, with the exception of rotors, rudders, aeroflak, proto-seeker, and ion distorter. Those ones have not gained any armor. And in addition to that, all ground movement parts have received an additional significant, they say, increase to their health per CPU. The main aim there is to rebalance them, so if they look tough, they are tough. Now, it has been confirmed a little while back by Sergi, one of the devs, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, I apologize if I am not, has said that tank tracks are indeed becoming tankier. I'm also hoping that insect legs are going to become a lot tankier, because they're a little piddly at the moment, unfortunately. Although the thing is, the main aim here is if they look tanky, they are tanky, and the legs look fairly thin. They've always looked fairly thin, so I don't know. Fingers crossed they get a good buff. And also, here is something that is definitely interesting for those of you with a lot of RP to spend. Electro shields have been upgraded to electro plates, and your electro shields are being removed from the game. So essentially, what's happening here is all of the quote-unquote lower tier electro plates, aka the electro shields, are being converted into electro plates, and then electro plates are now the only thing. So a good idea would be buying up a lot of the lower tier electro shields. However, for whatever reason, I believe they have this reversed text-wise. I think the electro plates are the lowest ones and the electro shields are the highest tier ones. But regardless, you want to buy up a lot of the low tier electro plates, and then they will be automatically converted into the high tier electro plates when the update hits. Basically giving you a big discount. So if you've got the money, I would spend it right now. And pretty much last but not least, actually there's two things here. Tesla blades. Their collision is now more reliable. So all of you guys that love using Teslas, don't worry. They are, fingers crossed, actually viable now. And something that was actually added recently is that all heal rates of cubes are now set to 1. Which makes sense, because if you didn't know what a heal rate is, it's basically a bonus or a nerf to healing. So 1 is the base. So that means they gain nothing and they lose nothing when being healed, i.e. a faster heal time or a slower heal time. So with the whole nano rework, the largest nano has an insane heal rate. So having a bonus on certain parts with that insane heal rate would have been a fairly big problem. So I'm kind of glad that they're actually reducing everything to a quote-unquote base heal rate. And that kind of covers everything today. Again, link is in the description. It has some more points that I didn't actually cover, and it does again detail the specifics of what rewards you get at the end of each game as far as crates go. So this is shaping up to be a very, very interesting update. I am definitely looking forward to it. What about you guys? Let me know down below what you think of the update, what things you are looking forward to, and anything you're disappointed by. With that, I will end the video here. I've been the Awesome Soul. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.
Your middle fusion tower is under attack. Spotted. Your bottom fusion tower